All right, so to finish up my argument, I believe that the economic engagement towards Cuba by dropping the Cuban embargo will stimulate both the American and Cuban economies and will be better for both the citizens of both countries. So I'm going to start off by explaining U.S. Travel policy towards other countries. Americans are permitted to travel to other communist countries, nations known for rights violations, and even places on the list of state sponsors for terrorism. So I believe Cuba's government, being communistic, is not the reason that we have the trade embargo. Rather, it's kind of an attitudinal inherency we have towards Cuba because of the incidents during the Cold War and how they supported Russia, and they're basically just against us, and we've just had that attitude towards them since then. So I believe it has nothing to do with their current government. The international community also agrees with dropping the embargo, and every year since 1991, the United Nations has formally denounced the U.S. embargo on Cuba, and 188 countries in the UN General Assembly voted to condemn this policy. So the rest of the world does not see the just or the reason why we have created this embargo with Cuba. So I feel like we should also agree with them and kind of see their point of view. Also, an influx of trade of U.S. tourists and business would also expose the sheltered island to our cultures and our freedoms, and would gradually make them adopt a similar type of government after they see its efficiency and see how it works. And for the two major points of my argument, that the first point being that American businesses will benefit. American businesses would be able to dominate Cuban markets because Cuba is highly dependent on imports to feed its population, and mostly for certain agricultural commodities, which U.S. has a vast amounts of. And U.S. exports to Cuba could see significant gains to the removal of U.S. restrictions. U.S. producers can offer a wide variety of high-quality goods, competitive prices, and smaller shipments, and lower transportation costs and faster delivery times, all of which would help the U.S. dominate Cuba's market and greatly increase our net exports. Another way that Americans will benefit is that this change will give American workers and the economy a great boost, as noted by a 2010 study by the Texas A&M University. Lifting this trade embargo could increase the sale of U.S. goods by $365 million and create 6,000 new jobs in the United States. This was by a study sourced by the Chamber of Commerce. And for the second point of my argument, Cuba and its people would greatly benefit from dropping the embargo. Fewer than 1 in 4 Cubans accessed the internet in 2011, and maintaining this embargo gives the Cuban government an excuse for not building a better technological infrastructure and prevents foreign companies from expanding the internet into Cuba. So our embargo against Cuba kind of locks them out from the digital age and keeps them separate from the digital world that is so great in all these other countries. A quote by Google's spokesperson: "As a U.S. company, we comply with the U.S. export controls and trade sanctions that limit us from offering certain services in certain countries." So even though the embargo is simply from the U.S., so many of companies used around the world have patents in the U.S., and thus they're not allowed to be used or traded into Cuba, and that includes Google and various other online services. So the embargo does lock them out from the digital age, and it's kind of slowing down their government and the way that their companies their country is developing. And to rebut the negative side that...
You're out of time.
Oh, okay. That's all.
Surprise, surprise. All right. Thank you.